This evening it's my privilege to officially welcome all of our graduates and their families to this evening's baccalaureate service on the weekend of our 45th commencement ceremonies. It could easily be a record crowd tomorrow based on the number of RSVPs we've received from graduates who plan to walk. It's now up to 8,000 compared to 6,900 last year. We expect upwards of 40,000 people to attend the event in the Arthur Williams Stadium tomorrow. And we are especially honored to have former President Jimmy Carter with us to deliver the keynote address. Mr. I was definitely going to ask him to stand because he came into town today and has toured the campus with us here this afternoon. It's the first time in my tenure as president that a commencement speaker has made the investment of time to come a day early, to get to know Liberty, attend Baccalaureate. I think this speaks volumes about his character and his genuine love for people. So thank you so much, President Carter. He's not only commented on how beautiful the campus is and how beautiful the buildings are, but also how beautiful Liberty women are. So that's a compliment to you ladies from the 39th President of the United States. The main ceremony begins at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and our teams have worked hard to make sure that the parking, traffic, and security checks work smoothly and move quickly. Refreshments will be available in the concourse of the stadium and throughout the campus until the ceremony begins. We want our guests to be as comfortable as possible. They're just calling for sporadic showers during the day, so we're handing out ponchos just in case. So at least we'll be protected if a shower does blow through. But the weather reports do look good, so we're thankful for that. The Liberty Godparent Home for Unwed Mothers will be selling the LU logo pin this weekend for only $2. They'll be available on the concourse tonight and all over campus this weekend. Pick up one to support this great ministry to unwed mothers. Tomorrow we will be honoring one of the largest graduating classes in Liberty's history, with over 20,000 degrees being conferred. Graduates, we are proud of you and are looking forward to celebrating your accomplishments throughout this special weekend. We believe that you are ready to become the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Perhaps more now than ever, our world needs to be impacted by people like you, people who lead by example, by living their lives according to the great commandment of Jesus Christ to love God and love our neighbors as ourselves. We believe in you because we know that your faith has taken deep roots here. We look forward to hearing about all of your future successes. And we know that you plan on serving Christ and serving others because you've already been doing that during your days here at Liberty. Our students don't wait until they graduate to begin obeying Christ's command to love their neighbor. They've been doing so already, both here in Lynchburg and around the world through various missions, organizations, as well as through our own LU Send. When Jesus commanded his disciples to go into all the world, preach the gospel to every creature, he knew that billions would become believers and would live their lives according to that great commandment, no matter what profession they chose, and that they would attract new believers through their example. Liberty University was founded on this very principle, to train Christian young people to work in every profession. That way the gospel of Christ would permeate the world, because it is not only the job of preachers and evangelists and Sunday school teachers like President Carter to spread the good news of Jesus Christ. Instead, Liberty is leading the way in training Christian young people not only to be successful in their chosen professions, but in areas like disaster relief, anti-human trafficking, orphan care, food and water distribution, and poverty alleviation. This is part of the Liberty experience for all students, not just the experience of full-time ministry graduates. With God's help here at Liberty, we're not just training good professionals, we're training good people. Let me share a few examples with you. Students, faculty, and staff volunteered around 500,000 hours of community service this year alone. Liberty's Habitat for Humanity Club joined forces with Sodexo, our dining services provider, and raised money to build our second house here in Lynchburg just recently. Liberty students sponsored 1,000 children in Rwanda through Compassion International this year. Students also raised money to purchase an ultrasound machine for a clinic in Rwanda, and nursing students delivered and set up the machine during their spring break. The inaugural class of the medical school is graduating this year from Liberty University College of Osteopathic Medicine. A significant portion of their training includes working with underserved in the nearby rural areas and around the world. LU Send Now, the humanitarian aid organization of Liberty, has sent 15 teams to provide immediate disaster relief to places like Puerto Rico, Texas, Antigua, Cuba, and Mexico. Students often use skills from their degree programs like nursing or engineering on these trips. From the beginning of our school, Liberty's original vision was different than other Christian colleges. Many such schools focused on preparing students for careers in ministry, and of course we do that too. But my father recognized early on the importance of training students who would go out to work in every profession. The word vocation comes from a Latin word which means calling. We believe that for a Christian, every righteous vocation can be a sacred calling from God. Liberty's vision was to train doctors, lawyers, engineers, businessmen, politicians, educators, nurses, and pilots. Every major and degree program can produce graduates who will be champions for Jesus Christ in the work which God has called them to do. Since 1971, our campus has changed completely. As you can see from the before and after pictures on the screen, this is what it looked like when you were president, Mr. Carter. And next picture is what it looks like now. But the mission has never changed, and neither has our character. My dad used to say that if Liberty ever lost its original vision and mission, then the trustees should just close the doors and burn it to the ground. It's all brick and steel now, Dad, so sorry it won't burn. But there's one thing we still do each spring that nearly all colleges and universities used to do, but now they don't. It is this baccalaureate service of worship and thanksgiving to God. The baccalaureate service has its origin in the 15th century at Oxford University. Only back then it involved every graduate delivering a sermon in Latin. As far as I know, that's not going to take place tonight. But instead of 20,000 sermons in Latin, tonight we will hear one sermon in English. And in just a moment, I will introduce the pastor for tonight's message. But first, we have three people we would like to honor. I now invite our provost, Dr. Ron Hawkins, and our co-provost, Dr. Ben Gutierrez, to the podium to present the first two honorary doctorates for this evening.
Well, good evening. We always take time during the service to honor some very special people. First, we have someone who is already a distinguished graduate. I would like to invite Mr. Mark Hicks to join me at the podium, please. Mark Hicks studied pre-law at Liberty University. Then he received his Juris Doctor from Liberty University School of Law in 2012. Yeah, University? Liberty. Gotcha. We're doing a fact check as we stand here, so we have it correct. Sorry. But when the president requests a fact check, we fact check it. Today, he is the Senior Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney for the city of Danville, a city that is about 1 hour south here of Lynchburg. He is the supervising attorney for all prosecutions in the General District Court, and he prosecutes both felony and misdemeanor cases in that court, as well as in the Circuit Court and the Danville Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court. Danville, a community of about 40,000 people, has one of the highest crime rates in the state. Together with law enforcement, Hicks has focused his efforts on drug distribution cases. Many of those stem from neighborhood gang activity, which is on the rise, especially among juveniles. But his primary goal is to fight for justice for the victims of crime. He spends a lot of time with them on the phone and in person, listening to their stories, showing them selfless, Christ-like compassion as he becomes their true advocate. He told us that there is nothing like getting a hug from a victim and hearing them tell you, "Thank you." Prosecution is a challenging career, working in some of the darkest parts of society. But for Hicks, it's a mission, and he feels that it's God's calling to him. And in his own community, he is making a difference as they are seeing the homicide rate decrease. I'd like to ask President Falwell to join Dr. Hawkins, Mr. Hicks to the podium. In recognition of Mark Hicks' dedication to legal profession and his commitment to shine God's light as he defends the innocent and fights for justice, with all the power vested in me by the President Falwell and the Board of Trustees of Liberty University, the Doctor of Laws is hereby conferred upon Mr. Mark A. Hicks with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
Tonight, for the first time, I met Danny Moon, and I'm going to ask him if he would now join me at the podium, please. Mr. Danny Moon is a local businessman who has literally supported much of Liberty's growth. And I mean literally. He is president of CSE, a crane, rigging, and steel erecting company headquartered in the Lynchburg area. You know all those cranes you've seen rising above campus the past few years? The ones that we jokingly say have been on campus so long that we should make them part of our logo. Many of these were operated by CSE, and this is the man behind the operation. Mr. Moon's company has worked on projects for both Liberty University and Thomas Road Baptist Church since the 1970s, including Freedom Tower, Jerry Falwell Library, Montview Student Union, the Center for Music and Worship, Arts, Residential Commons 1, 2, and 3, the Liberty Baseball Stadium, the Indoor Practice Facility, the Liberty Athletic Center, the Center for Natural Sciences, the Hancock Welcome Center, and the original and current Thomas Road Baptist Church buildings. Mr. Moon's path to success didn't come easy. He quit high school to work and support his family after his father had a heart attack. He started CSE in 1968 at the very old age of 22. The company has been named one of the top 20 steel erectors in the United States and has won the Steel Erectors Association Job of the Year 2 times. At this time, I'd like to ask President Falwell to join us for the presentation. In recognition of Danny Moon's perseverance and integrity in the business world, and for his wonderful support of Liberty University, with the power vested in me by President Jerry Falwell and the Board of Trustees of Liberty University, the Doctor of Business is hereby conferred upon Danny Ray Moon with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Thank you, Mr. Danny Moon.
Mark, your mom told me you went to a different law school. I think more of you now. That's good. Our next awardee is Horace Hunley Floyd. Please join me at the podium. He's also known much better to everyone as Buck. He's another person who has provided essential services to Liberty and its related ministries for at least 40 years as a CPA. His financial advice has been invaluable. At age 90, he is still providing help to Thomas Road Baptist Church and Liberty Christian Academy. Those who work with Buck know that he brings humor into the workplace with all sorts of exciting stories of where he's been and who he's talked to. He has even joked that even though he never has been able to shake the habit of being a chain smoker until 5 weeks ago, he plans to live to age 100 after being murdered by a jealous husband. But that's why he quit 5 weeks ago, because he's still got 10 years to go. So anyway, but in all seriousness, the real Buck Floyd is a man who believed in Liberty University at a time when no other auditing firms thought the school would survive financially. In our darkest days in the 1990s, he performed our audits and gave us a clean bill of health because he had faith in this institution. He knew that if Liberty's audits questioned whether Liberty was able to continue as a going concern, the audits would become a self-fulfilling prophecy and people would lose faith in the school. And he truly believed that LU would become one of the most prosperous universities in the nation. Well, Buck was right. In recognition of Mr. Floyd's integrity in the business world and for his loyal support, with the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Liberty University, the Doctor of Business is hereby conferred upon Horace Hundley Floyd with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. Congratulations, Buck.